거의 다 왔어. 5km는 게리라도 먹고 뛰었으면 좋았을 텐데.
그러니까 그러면 확실히 다르죠.
그러니까 아니, 지금 오늘 뭐 하루 종일 아무것도 안 먹었으니까 힘이 없지. 확실히 탄수화물 먹냐 안 먹냐에 따라서 글리코겐 빠지는 속도가 다르더라고. 저도 탄수화물 안 먹고 뛰면 막 커지더라고. 3, 4kg 때. 그냥 천천히 뛰어 그러면 조금 회복한다는 느낌으로. 아니야 같이 뛰면 돼. 왜? 아니야 이거 그 누구도 포기할 수 없어. 너 길을 모르잖아. 택시 타야 될 텐데 그러면. 예. 400m 뒤면 5km. 일단 우리는 가보시죠. 자, 100m, 300m. 정국이는 빠졌는데.
They told you it was just a casual post-show run. Two global superstars, a coastal breeze, the lights of Busan glittering in the distance. What they didn't tell you was that buried inside this single, shaky video shot on a handheld camera and uploaded quietly to a personal channel, was a confession the most powerful music label on the planet never intended for public consumption. An offhand remark, a moment of physical collapse, a window into a machine that chews up its brightest stars and polishes the wreckage until it looks like a smile. The run was 10 kilometers. The fallout is still unfolding. You saw the clips. Min Yoongi, known to the world as SUGA of BTS, lacing up his shoes outside a venue where tens of thousands had just screamed his name. Next to him, Jungkook, the golden maknae, the idol who never breaks, grinning and stretching. This was a vlog, a gift for fans, a behind-the-scenes peek at how two members of the planet's biggest group unwind after a historic free concert in Busan. The title asked, "Who wants to run 10 km with me after work?" It was framed as wholesome, spontaneous, almost mundane. But the internet misses nothing, and the details hidden in plain sight are now fueling an investigation that has industry insiders whispering about what really happens when the cameras are supposed to be off. Before the pavement even warms under their feet, a moment slips through the editing. A paid promotion segment. Sujae holding up a sunscreen product, applying it thick to his skin, explaining that you need protection even at night. A sponsored ad inside a personal vlog.
매일 10km 뛰는데 부산에서 퇴근런 하기 전에 믹스는 선크림을 바르고, 여러분 잘 모르시겠지만 밤에도 자외선 차단을 하셔야 됩니다. 정말로요. 그래가지고 딱 바르고 딱 발랐을 때 여러분 그 선크림 띄우실 때 절대 이마 위로 바르시는 거 아닙니다. 울면서 띱니다. 야 이건 뭐 로션인데? 야 로션인데 이거. 그럼 이게 백탁이 이렇게 딱 있을 때까지 바르셔야 돼요 진짜. 근데 얘는 백탁도 없어지는데? 얘는 10kg. Let's go. 믹스는
It's a small thing, but it's the first crack. Because what you're witnessing isn't a private moment. It's a product. Every breath is content. Every smile is an asset. The run hasn't started, and already the Fast 8 is so carefully constructed that the line between human being and billboard has completely vanished. And if you think that sunscreen was the only thing they were layering on that night, you haven't seen what comes next. The run begins. A 5:40 pace per kilometer, which for most people would be a sprint. For these two, it's a casual jog. The GPS locks in, the breathing settles, and immediately the conversation turns to food. Or rather, the lack of it.
가봅시다. 좀 인사 좀 해.
안녕하세요.
지금 너무 빨라. 너무 빨라. 잠깐만 있어봐. 네, GPS 좀 맞추고. 자, 가봅시다. 10km. 오케이. 자, 지금 540 요런 속도 가면 될 것 같은데? 네. 6분 딱 나오네. 600. 배고프다. 가서 뭐 먹지?
버스에서 간식도 안 먹어가지고
나
먹은 게
나 오늘 낮에 닭간식 먹고, 그리고 뭐냐, 닭간식 먹고 뭐 먹었지도 모르겠다.
I didn't even eat any snacks on the bus. Suga says, his voice light, conversational. All I've eaten is a chicken tenderloin earlier today. And what else? I can't remember. I had sadiok, and a protein shake. Listen to that list again. A piece of lean meat, a street food skewer, and a protein shake. That is the fuel for a man about to run 10 kilometers after performing a full concert. And the way he says it, as if this is normal, as if this is fine, should send a chill down your spine. Because later in this video, the consequences of that starvation will become impossible to ignore, and a decision will be made that no amount of slick editing could completely hide. As the kilometers tick by, the narrative shifts. The pair talk about half marathons, heart rates, glycogen depletion. SUGA mentions he has been running 10 kilometers every single day. He talks about running from home to work at 3 in the afternoon in brutal heat and completely burning out. He recalls the punishing hills of San Francisco, the way he thought he was going to die. This isn't a hobby, this is compulsion. Hidden inside the cheerful chatter is a man using physical exhaustion to silence something screaming inside his own head. And industry psychologists will tell you, when an idol this obsessive about self-punishment starts talking about fuel sources and heart rate zones with clinical precision, it is rarely about fitness. It is about control in a life where every other choice has been surrendered to a corporation. The streets of Busan unfurl. Jungkook, the younger, supposedly fitter member, is asked about his childhood neighborhood, Mandeok, a few bus stops away. He points, but the conversation dies fast, because the incline is starting. A hill that the GPS doesn't warn them about, a concrete wall rising through the city, and suddenly the tone changes. This uphill just keeps going, SUGA mutters. It's steeper than Namsan. It seriously doesn't end. The editing shows a subway station detour, a moment of confusion, a rare break in the curated calm. But the real break is happening in Jungkook's body. His replies shorten, his breathing becomes ragged. The man who once performed high-intensity choreography for 3 hours straight while live, streaming to millions, is now struggling to maintain a conversational jog. And this is where the video becomes evidence. You see, what the label wants you to believe is that this is just a tough run. What the footage actually shows is a carefully monitored collapse. At the 5-kilometer mark, Jungkook stops. The camera captures SUGA checking on him, asking if he's okay, suggesting they slow down. Jungkook's voice is thin. They discuss energy gels, the kind used by marathon runners to prevent catastrophic bonking. You've barely eaten anything all day, so of course you don't have any energy, SUGA says, and the words land like a diagnosis. But then comes the line that the editors couldn't cut without ruining the continuity. It really makes a difference whether or not you eat carbs. Your glycogen depletes at a different rate. When I run without eating carbs, I completely crash around the 3 or 4 kilometer mark. My legs lose all their strength. He is talking to Jungkook, but he is also describing exactly what is happening in real time. The golden maknae, the invincible center of the biggest act in the world, has hit the wall. And the reason is starvation. What follows is a sequence that the channel tried to frame as a cute moment of friendly separation. Jungkook fades to the back. SUGA talks about continuing alone. He jokes that Jungkook doesn't know the way and would have to take a taxi. And then, in a single on-screen caption slipped into the edit, the truth is revealed. Jungkook eventually takes a taxi back to the hotel. They placed it in brackets as if it were a casual footnote. But think about what this means. A global pop icon supposed to be relaxing with his bandmate physically gave out. He didn't just stop. He had to be retrieved from a random street in Busan by a taxi. No security team rushed in. No manager stepped forward. The footage shows SUGA and the camera operator continuing on, leaving the exhausted singer behind. This wasn't a plan. This was a breakdown caught on film, and the decision to air it, even with a sanitizing caption, raises urgent questions about who exactly is in charge of these artists' well-being. As SUGA powers on alone, the narrative shifts into something even more revealing. Freed from the need to manage Jungkook's image, his monologue becomes confessional. To improve your 10K record, you just have to keep running uphill, he says, and the metaphor is almost too blunt.
다운이다. 너무 높았어, 어필이. 어필 한 1.5km 되지 않았나? 샘플한 어필은 기억도 안 나. 어떻게 올라가는지. 지옥이더라, 거기 진짜. 안 보였는데 하나 더 생기고. 10K 기록 잘 나오려면 어필만 그냥 계속 달리면 되거든. 근데 요즘 그래서 어필 섞어서 달리고 있는데 확실히 있는 거랑 없는 거랑 차이가 너무 큰 것 같아. 심박이 한.
The hills never end. The pain is the point. He talks about adding hills to his runs deliberately, about the suffering producing measurable results. At a pace under 5 minutes per kilometer, he pushes toward the ocean, chasing a time goal that nobody asked him to chase. The GPS glitches in the subway, the signal vanishing, and he jokes about blaming the technology for a sudden drop in pace. But glitches in the matrix are exactly what this entire video represents. A system designed to project perfection. Momentarily shorting out and showing the raw wiring beneath, the ocean finally comes into view. Handa, the glittering jewel of Busan, stretching out under the night sky. SUGA breathes in the salt air, and for a fleeting second, his voice lifts. You can really smell the ocean. I like it here. It's a sliver of genuine peace, a rare unguarded moment. But then he immediately quantifies it. 57 minutes. That was the time. The Busan Post show 10K run completed in under an hour. He notes the time with satisfaction, the obsession overriding the scenery. The vlog ends with a triumphant declaration. That's the run.
바람이 확 나네. 여기 좋다. 보자. 1.5km 왔다. 51분 30초. 왔다. 내가 봤을 때 지하철 들어갔을 때 GPS 안 찍혔어요.
아 그런 것 같아요. 이거
예.
신기했어요.
갑자기 막 8분 동안 막 넘어가고 그냥. 그러니까 얘 입장에서는 길 건넌 거잖아 그냥.
그렇죠. 갑자기 사람 지나가니까.
난 10km 찍혔어. 한 시간에 들어왔네. 아휴 57분. 아휴. 아휴.
Another mission accomplished, another battle won against his own body. Viewers clicked away feeling warm, inspired, charmed. They missed the warning signs deliberately buried in the runtime. Because what has happened since this video was released paints a very different picture. In the months that followed, the group announced a hiatus from group activities. Mandatory military enlistment loomed, but so did something deeper. Members spoke openly about burnout, about losing their identity, about the pressure of carrying a multi-billion-dollar industry on their shoulders. And this one seemingly insignificant vlog, has now been re-examined by industry watchdogs and fan analysts as a key piece of evidence in a much larger argument about the cost of global entertainment dominance, the food deprivation, the compulsion, the collapse, the taxi ride, the fact that none of it was stopped, none of it was hidden, because the machine no longer sees these moments as red flags. It sees them as content. There's another layer that only the most obsessive fans have caught. The paid promotion for the sunscreen wasn't the only product placement. The entire route was a product. The Busan concert itself was a staggering logistical feat, funded by the city and the national government, designed to boost tourism and secure an expo bid. These men were not just running, they were running through a branded landscape, their every step implicitly endorsing the host city, their exhaustion part of a package deal that stretched far beyond music. When SUGA marvels at the banners along the street, when he navigates the underground passage, he is mapping a commercial territory as much as a physical one. The GPS was not just tracking their pace, it was tracking their value, and the signal never truly cuts out. By now, you are likely asking the question that the comment sections have been debating for weeks. If this was just a fun run, why does it feel so desperate? Why does a video titled as a casual invitation contain clear evidence of an artist being pushed past his limits? Why did the label allow footage of a taxi extraction to remain in the final cut? The answer, according to multiple sources close to the industry, is that the machinery of K-pop has become so adept at spinning authenticity that even a cry for help can be packaged as a lovable quirk. The more transparent they appear, the more opaque the actual power structures become. The run was real, the pain was real, but the context was carefully, ruthlessly manipulated to sell you a story of dedication instead of a story of distress. Consider this an open loop that the mainstream media is still refusing to close. What specific instructions were given to SUGA and Jungkook regarding their diet on the day of that concert? What was the exact nature of the training that had SUGA running 10 kilometers daily, even on show days, even in the middle of a promotional blitz? And what happened in the days after that taxi pulled away from a darkened Busan street? No statements have been issued. No wellness checks have been documented. The channel simply continued to upload, the tour continued to sell, and the narrative of invincibility was reassembled as if Jungkook's legs never buckled beneath him. Now the silence is deafening. The group's solo projects are dissected for clues. Solo documentaries tease emotional breakdowns but stop short of naming the system that caused them. This vlog, sitting quietly on a server with millions of views, remains one of the most unfiltered windows into a world that prioritizes performance over personhood. The question now is not whether these men are suffering. It is whether you, the viewer, are willing to see it. Or will you keep scrolling, keep streaming, keep believing the lie that a 10-kilometer run on empty is just a healthy habit? Fame gave them the ocean view, but it also took away the right to stop running. What does that trade actually cost? And who is finally going to be held accountable when the next collapse doesn't end with a taxi ride? If this footage made you question the curated reality you've been fed, then you already know there's more they aren't telling you. More receipts, more leaked moments, more confessions disguised as vlogs. Snapcraze Hub is digging into every single one. Subscribe now, because the next expose is already uploading. And what we found inside a rehearsal room recording is going to make that Busan run look like a gentle warm-up